Today we're going to have a look at the random direction obstacle avoidance with the Maqueen robots. So firstly we need to understand what we're after here is a Maqueen robot that will see an object and avoid it. So what is object avoidance and why is it important for these robots? So obviously the robot needs to be able to sense things in the environment, so we're going to use the ultrasonic sensors to detect objects around it, or more importantly in front of it, and avoid those objects. So it's like it has its own eyes, but it's using a ultrasonic sensor, so it's using sound like a bat to avoid it. First up, we have a look at our robot's brain. We're going to add two pieces of information to it. The first is we're going to set the variable called distance to be 0. Now this variable will actually be changed by the ultrasonic sensor. And we're going to set a variable called left or right to 0 as well. And that'll either be our choice of 1 or 2, depending on whether we randomly choose to go left or right. So distance is a variable for how far away the object is. Left or right is a variable for which way it will turn. The on forever function is simply the function that will be repeated forever. So it keeps the robot going around and round and round, doing that function forever. You need to actually physically turn the robot off to stop that one happening. So it's important that we ensure that everything that we do is inside of this function, otherwise it won't work. Okay. When you see the object, the behavior you want is to either choose left or right. So the first thing we use an if statement is a simple selection statement. So if the distance is less than 8, we use 8 because around about 5 and below, the ultrasonics aren't that sensitive. So when we get 8, we want to say, all right, it's now seen an object, it needs to choose whether it's going to go left or right by using the random int, so a random integer, choosing a whole number between and inclusive of the numbers set. So here, a random int, 1, 2 means it can only choose the numbers 1 or numbers 2. So it's tossing a coin for 1 or 2. With this choosing a new path, we've added some visual prompts for us on the robot. So you can see here we've got a diamond and a square, so that we can see that, hey, the robot has detected something, it's randomly making a choice, and it's either choosing the left or right or 1 or 2 option. So by using the LED display to just display some different things, we can see what is happening and whether the code is actually working. So in the if statement here, we have if the left or right is equal to, so double equals means is equal to 1, then it'll do this first bit of code. Else, if it's anything else, it will do turn right. With the visual indicators, well, I'm using a smiley face or actually the code, or I might change it to something different. But a simple indicator, so when it's got a smiley face, I know that that means there is no object in front of me and it'll keep going. So it's just a visual indicator to say what behavior the robot is actually doing. When you get this to go, let's try some different things. Try changing the turn duration and the speed, so we can set a pause in there to allow it to turn a bit further or a bit less when it sees the object, or experiment with different icons for feedback to showing you what's going on. So adjust the speed or adjust the icons so you know what's going on. So it's your turn to play scientists. Have a go, make a change, record what happens, and see if you can fix it up.